Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Lanky Woodsman. Mike here, and today I'm going to give you guys a comparison between my ZT0350 and my Kershaw Knockout. I've carried both of these long enough at this point to know a lot about them, what I like, what I don't like, and I'm going to compare the two and see if it is worth going the extra $100 to get the ZT, or if the Kershaw Knockout is my new favorite EDC and an amazing blade for the price that they charge. Real quick first, I'm going to do a quick channel update. Clearly you guys see that I lost the beard challenge. I'm going to be putting together a little package and sending down to Garrett at Garrett Outdoors. I ran into some issues with getting a little too cocky with my trimming and got a little too far on one end, and then you fix one side, fix the other, next thing you know you're looking real dumb, and I shaved it off. And it also gave me the ability now to just grow it back the way I want to grow it, you know, as long as I want to grow it and everything like that. And I've started a new challenge for myself. Anybody in the thing can feel free to do the same, but this is just for me. And I am going to do a challenge to myself to get in the best possible shape that I can at this point in my life. As I'm sitting here thinking about prepping and being prepared and, you know, all of these situations, and I always come back to the same thing. As we're out on long hikes, people complain about how sore they are and how, you know, it just really boils down to how out of shape we are. And if you can't, you can have all the gear in the world, and if you can't walk 5 miles or, you know, run fast and pull yourself up something if you have to, it really doesn't mean anything. So I started this challenge yesterday. Eating a lot better. I'm being much more active throughout the day as I'm sitting at a desk job, and then I'm exercising after work when I get home as well. One of the things that I've done so far is I took a 9-mile bike ride yesterday, so I feel great. It was an awesome thing, and I want to continue that on. So I'm going to post little updates to that little challenge throughout the videos that I try to come up with on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just a quick, you know, keep you up to date on that. As far as the Tuesday and Thursday thing, that was the other thing that I'm really trying to stick to, so let's see if I can do that. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of things for each of these blades, and then get through a bunch of testing and see how they both perform at the end, you know, after going through all of these tests through different material and trying to wear the blades out a little bit and see which one holds up the best. Both of these are really nice. I love them both. Obviously this one costs $100 more than this one does. Now they're almost identical in size, 3.25 inches on the blade, and I think about 7.25 overall. But there's many different things that I look at when I'm grabbing a EDC folder, and I'm going to compare the two right now in a lot of those. First on the list is the price. This was $158. This was $58. So there's a huge difference there. Obviously this one takes the win on that, the Kershaw Knockout. The blade steel, S30V, and this is the Sandvik 14 C28N on this one. We will determine which one is a little better for these tasks by the end of the video. I'm just looking at, I haven't looked at the blade shape on these yet, and from the top these both have a lot of similarities as well. I have to do a little more research, but I've heard that this is a company underneath this one now, like, so they're made similar to by the same people. I got to look into that. Don't quote me on that, but I will find that out. Overall feel is something that I like to, you know, test out on my blades. So I put it in my hand, see where my thumb rests, feel the weight, feel what the scales feel like, and they're very different. I do like the zero tolerance. For me though, in the hand, the Kershaw Knockout just feels a little bit better. The blade width is right. The feel of the scales is good for me. The one thing I do like better on the zero tolerance is the thumb jimping at the top. That is kind of handy, and then there's also this place for getting a little bit more control out here on the blade. But overall, I like the feel of the Knockout better. So what do we have next? I already talked about the size and of the blades being almost identical. The weight is a big thing if you're going to be talking about an EDC blade. I like something that I'm not going to really know is there, but I also don't want it to be a cheap little piece of junk either. This thing feels like it's, you know, very, very sturdy, but you can also tell that based upon the weight. This comes in at basically 6 ounces, and this one comes in at 3.4, so it's like half the weight. You can tell. I mean, this thing is extremely light, but as I'm using it, it doesn't give any indication that it's chintzy or cheap. It's very rock solid as well. Pocket clip is one of the next things that I look for on a blade. Paying $158 for this, it did not come with this deep pocket carry. I had to purchase this separately, so that's another $20-some. So that's a big negative for this comparison, whereas the Kershaw Knockout came with, it's not the most amazing deep carry pocket clip, but it is a nice deep carry clip. So win to the Knockout on that one. When you talk about extras that come with these, the zero tolerance did come with a cheap nylon sheath and a cheap sharpener. Now the sharpener isn't too bad. I actually do use that. And the Knockout comes with nothing extra. Not surprising for $58. Honestly, it's not really anything that I don't use the sheath, and I do occasionally use the little sharpener, but it's just like a touch-up sharpener. It's not like something I'm going to use a lot. So as far as sharpening goes, ease of sharpening, the win definitely goes to the Knockout. They both are about as easy to get sharp, except for the curved blade is definitely more of a challenge down here with the zero tolerance. So I give the slight edge to the Knockout on that as well. Both of these blades are made in the USA. That's a huge plus for me, and that kind of gives you my overall just first impression type analysis of these blades, like look and feel. Now I want to get into the actual testing and see how these things pan out. So what we'll do is a quick paper test before, and then the paper test at the end will kind of give us a gauge on what we ended up with after these tests. Super sharp, curve, all of that, not surprising. Kershaw feels just a little bit like the blade is a little thinner, it almost seems like, and it just feels like it slices through a bit better. It is just a little bit thinner. I do see that, so that's also going to give you a little bit more as far as toughness on this one over this one, in my opinion. Overall thickness of the handles is a bit more as well on the ZT, so it's definitely, you know, more sturdy. Depending on what you're going to be doing with your EDC blade. Trying to line these up. Yeah, they're definitely pretty much the same length on both, but thickness is more on here. Slices through the paper a bit better. I'm not worried about like how it feels when it slices. I'm just worried about how the blade holds up at the end. So we're going to set up the testing right now. I'm going to move the camera, and I'll be back with you guys and put these blades through some tests. Okay, back with you guys. What I'm going to do is I have several different materials here, and I'm going to make several cuts with each blade. I'm not going to do anything abusive, just something I would do on a day-to-day basis, and we'll then compare them at the end and just try to see pretty much how the steel held up and which blade for me is going to be something that I'm going to use more often, and do I think that it's worth the upgrade to the $158 version of this. So I'm going to start here first with some cuts in the cardboard. I'm going to try to maximize how many I can get out of each piece. I'm not really concentrating on technique here. I'm trying to make use of the entire blade as much as possible. This blade is pretty amazing to me for the price. Both of these have a similar coating, this one just being black and then the ZT being the tiger stripe, but it's a very, very similar feel to those. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. 7. Oops, some tape. 8. 9. And 10. Bring up the zero tolerance. And I may fast forward through some of this stuff so you guys don't have to watch every single little slice, but one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, oops, 9, 10. What else do we have? Let's do some paracord. I'll do 5 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kershaw knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing I did want to say is that both of these blades have seen considerable EDC use, cardboard, plastic, things like that, and I have taken them both over the strop and brought them back to you know, what they were when I started. We'll do 2 cuts on the wire each. Kershaw knockout first. Oh, it helps if I get it in the right spot. 1, 2, ZT, 1, 2. I have some bank line here. I'll do 5 cuts through that. ZT first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over to the Kershaw knockout. 1. Man, that just melts right through. What happened there? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what else do we have? I'm going to do some of the slicing here. Make 5 slices with each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. That was the Kershaw knockout. Let me get the other side and do 5 with the ZT. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one doesn't slice through as good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely had to push harder with the ZT on the slice. Oh good, more of this stuff. I'm just going to do maybe like some off the edge here, that way it doesn't make a ton of noise. I'll do 5 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was not exactly an easy one to set up and still stay on camera. Kershaw knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and we have our hard block of wood. Start off with the ZT. I'm going to give it 10 cuts, whittles, whatever you want to call it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch over to the Kershaw knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to try to get into that one. Okay, at this point, I don't think either one of these are going to have an issue on the paper test. I would hope not, especially for the $158 one. I would expect that both of them are still sharp enough to slice through no problem. Let's go with the ZT first. Oh. We have a spot that sticks. I try to go as slow as possible so you get any. There's definitely a spot right there, but still pretty darn good. Okay, Kershaw knockout. Absolutely no catches. That was me. overall, both really great blades. Let me readjust the camera and bring you guys back. Okay guys, you just saw all the testing that I did with both of these blades. Very equal. I did the same number, I did the same materials. I love this blade. I would purchase it again. It's definitely an awesome knife. On the other hand, if I were to have to choose one or the other, I would most certainly go with the Kershaw Knockout for $58. This thing is just as good, actually, in my opinion, a bit better than that knife, the ZT0350. The feel for me is a little better. It felt like a little easier to slice through certain things, I think maybe because of the blade. Could be a little bit of the blade shape with that recurve, but I think the thickness of the blade also helps a little bit. I like the look of it, this one being the olive green and black. I also like the look of this one, but I really, for the price difference of $100, I can't find enough things about the ZT0350s that are better than the Kershaw Knockout. The steel is amazing, easy to sharpen, and it takes plenty of abuse and just keeps on being razor sharp. So you guys saw it right here on the camera. I didn't do anything different with each one of those. Definitely my go-to. You can barely feel it in the pocket. Half the weight of the other one. Comes with the deep carry pocket clip, and I mean, in my opinion, a superior steel to the S30V, at least in these two knives. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope it kind of aims somebody in the direction that they want to go when they're looking for an EDC folder. Thursday I have a comparison of my flashlights coming, so definitely check that out, and share the video, like the video, all of that stuff. Please subscribe if you haven't. Check the little bell icon so you get alerted of when I release another video. Please interact with me in the comments if you guys want to see something different, if you want to see a certain product tested, or if you just want to have discussions. I love the interaction with all of my subscribers. It's awesome. So thank you guys for all your support, and I will see you in the next one.